Hey everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with my last process video using my March for the Love of Homemade kits. And in just a couple of days, I will be showing you my new April kit, which I'm super excited about. And so I ended up going to my stash to pull in this blue background that has like little check marks in different colors. Because at this point in the kit, like every single month, no matter how much paper I put into the kit, I'm running short on paper. It just happens to me every single time. And so I have this picture of my daughter, and I cut it a little smaller than 4x6 just to cut out some of the background clutter. And I'm putting it on white cardstock like you see me do all the time. And then I'm going to grab my leftovers of this yellow Bella Boulevard paper, and this has been in my kit and I've been using it all month. Same thing with this striped paper. So I just have like partial pieces left. I don't have full ones. And so I'm going to make this kind of like triangular offset area in the bottom right-hand corner of my layout. So I just kind of put it on my layout to decide where I wanted it, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue it down and trim off the edges. And I was trying to remember if you guys like got to see me fight with my trimmer doing this or if it was off screen, because I sometimes just want my trimmer to do things and cut in directions that it just doesn't want to. You guys have that problem ever, or is that just a weird thing for me? Like the paper's too big or the angle's too big or just it doesn't want to go where I want it to go. I don't know. I had this piece of doily left where I had used a chunk of it already, and so I could very easily tuck it into the rest of my layout and you don't even see that part of it is missing. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of triangles of pattern paper up in this top area to kind of mimic that detail down in the bottom right. And so I added the yellow first, and then I'm going to add the rainbow stripe over the top. And it's just going to be a small little section, but it's going to give me a home for another embellishment cluster. So when I'm creating, I'm always trying to find like, is there a place where I can create a small embellishment cluster away from my photo that's going to either like create the diagonal or give me a little extra pop of color, something like that. So I grabbed my freckled fawn chipboard, and they have these little banners, and so I was trying to get them both on the layout, and I really like that one by my photo, but I was really like fighting with where to put this other one. So you'll see me kind of go through this throughout the entire layout, where I go back and forth trying to decide where those little banners are going to live. And I wanted to get some more of these chipboard sheets kind of used up, since I have two of them especially. But I wasn't really sure where that was going to go either. So I kind of fight with this layout for a while. Like, not that I'm frustrated. It's not coming together the way I want it to. So I keep laying things, changing the direction, changing the spacing, trying to decide where I want them to go. And then I don't know. It just didn't come together easily this time. Do you guys ever have that where you create a layout and it just isn't coming together as easily as you wanted to? I don't know. You keep going and eventually it works, but at least that's my kind of interpretation, I suppose. So I have this little cluster of chipboard that I've put off the photo, and I kind of like how that looks. But then I remember I had painted this piece of chipboard for last month's kit and didn't end up using it because the color was just a little bit off of what I wanted in my kit last month. So I had left it on my desk, and it fits perfectly as like the inner edge of that doily. And so I was like, hey, this is going to make that space not quite so big. And it's just going to add the detail that I'm looking for. So I go ahead and tuck that into that space and then go back to rearranging my chipboard. And don't realize that I haven't turned the camera back on, of course. So you guys missed a little bit there. But all I have done is kind of tuck a bunch of these little hearts and pieces of chipboard into those spaces inside the frame. And filling up those spaces really just like got my head in the right place with this layout. Like it made it start to come together. So then I went ahead and added that sun up in the top cluster. And I'm adding some hearts up there as well. I put my title as cozy down in the bottom with this little like stuffed animal die cut that was also from my kit. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this kind of turquoise glittery color, and it matches the paint that I put on the frame. And so I'm going to start adding Nuvo drops, as you've seen that I'm using on everything lately, just because I really want to get it right and learn how to use these without making a mess. and I, you know, still make a mess. But I end up going a little bit Nuvo Drop crazy, so I end up adding a bunch in different colors, and I probably should have just put the brakes on and been like, okay, whoa, you've done enough. But you know, I don't. I just keep going. So then I'm going to end up with a lot of Nuvo Drops. A lot. And then I'm going to decide I want something other than Nuvo Drops. So now I want some sequins in here. And so, of course, I pull out my Spiegel Mom Scrap sequin mixes because what other sequins would you possibly use? And so I have this really gorgeous mix that's got the pinks and the blues. And I go ahead and add a bunch of those. And I have one little spot where my Nuvo Drops did not work the way I wanted to. So I just cover that right up with a sequin, which makes me even more happy. And then I decide to fill in more of the space with sequins. And you see where this goes, guys. Like, I keep adding things. And I keep adding little pieces to my clusters. And my clusters keep growing and getting more busy. But do you think I put the brakes on? No. Nope. I keep on going. So I'm going to fill in more of these little spaces with sequins. And at the end, I will say, I like how it looks. But there was probably several points where I should have just been like, done is done. Enough is enough. More is not always more. But you know, sometimes it is. So I kept going and powered through. And like I said, I do like how it ends up looking in the end. But I definitely could have like toned it down a little bit and probably put a few less because here I go, just adding more sequins. I don't know why. It just happens that it keeps going and going and going, and it's okay. But that's basically going to be the last step. As you can see, only one of those chipboard banners made it on the page. And that's basically going to do it for this layout. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing my last layout with my kit for this month. And in just a couple of days, I will be back to show you the April recipe as well as my kit. And I can't wait. It's going to be a good one. Bye, guys.